30 seconds to introduce.
Thanks. I was unaware Deputy Smith wasn't in the chamber, and I was skipping forward, hence why I was only coming in at the end of your question. Minister, the estimated impact of Brexit on the movement of horses and the equine industry in general is a huge source of concern, and I raise this question to see what protections can be provided to the industry. As you know, the tripartite agreement along with Ireland, the UK and France allows for the movement and trade of horses between countries without undergoing veterinary inspections and or the need for health certificates. This potentially will be greatly challenged by a no-deal Brexit and any contingencies.
Thank you, Deputy, and I appreciate your ongoing interest in this issue. Ireland has a strong reputation for the quality of its horses and the quality of its horsemanship. The current European Union rules on the movement of horses between EU member states require that animals being moved are inspected by an official veterinarian and accompanied by a veterinary health certificate issued under the EU Traces system and a horse passport issued by an approved horse passport issuing body. However, these rules also allow member states which have implemented alternative but equivalent health control systems in their respective territories to grant one another derogations from the standard movement rules. The derogation provided for under community rules on the movement of horses is applicable to movements between European Union member states only. It is not inclusive of movements between European Union and third countries. Currently, Ireland is part of a tripartite agreement, along with the United Kingdom and France, which allows for the movement and trade of horses between the three countries without undergoing veterinary inspections and without health certificates. As the tripartite arrangement is based on EU legislation on the movement of horses within the European Union, the United Kingdom cannot be part of the agreement once it becomes a third country. The current focus of our no-deal contingency planning is on the arrangements that will be necessary for the Department to fulfil its legal obligations with respect to import controls on live animals and agri-food products as efficiently as possible, while also ensuring the minimum possible disruption to trading arrangements. As part of this planning, we are upgrading existing border inspection posts and developing additional border inspection posts to cater for the increased volume of inspections necessary, including in respect of equines being imported from the United Kingdom, and making arrangements to facilitate the certification of horses to the United Kingdom as necessary.
Minister for his response, and obviously, as you outlined, the concern here is when the UK moves to being a third country and the impact it has on that, whether that's in a no deal or in a more managed way. But the impact on the equine industry in Ireland potentially is akin to that of the beef sector, because our Irish and UK markets for the breeding the racehorses and the movements, and as well in the racing sector, are so interlinked. We are looking at, if there was a no deal at the end of March, or we're looking at it much more difficult for Irish horses to get over to Aintree the following week for the Grand National Festival. Later that month, you will be looking at a scenario where we want the best of the English horses who've been successful in Cheltenham to come over and contest in Punchestown. And then, a couple of weeks later, you're into the height of the breeding season, where we have some of the top stallions in the world in this country, and mares will be travelling here, and we'll have mares travelling as well. So that concern is really there. Our racing and breeding industry is worth well in excess of €1 billion to our country, and they're core economic jobs across rural Ireland. So, is there the possibility that we might need to look at the relaxation of state aid rules to support the industry, or is the department, we need reassurance that the department stands ready to help the industry in every way possible, Minister.
Try and keep it to a minute.
Thank you, Deputy. Thank you, Carrie. Look, the department has had extensive and ongoing negotiations with the industry, and indeed with the Commission as well on this matter. And in fact, it was a subject that I raised with Commissioner Hogan on Monday of last week in Brussels. The thoroughbred sector in particular, and it's not just the thoroughbred sector, because the horse sport sector as well sees very considerable volume. I think I saw figures recently suggesting anything up to 30,000 sport horses outside of the thoroughbred sector move east-west on an annual basis. So we're very, with regard to the thoroughbred sector, it's complicated by the virtue of the fact that there's an all-island administration of racing through the Turf Club. For the thoroughbred sector, there's an all-island stud book, etc. So it's complex. We are looking at ways to facilitate. It will have some additional administrative obligations. We're trying to make it as simple as possible to make sure that the movement can continue, because that is critical to the industry here, and I'm very conscious that it is a highly mobile industry as well, and that anything that's perceived as an impediment could work to our disadvantage if it's not resolved. But we're looking for clarity in many respects on a range of issues where there's none immediately available, because we don't know the UK's response either. But we are committed to working with the industry to make the new arrangements post the UK as a third country as user-friendly and efficient as possible.
Thanks, Chair. I thank the Minister for that. Delighted to hear that you're open to work working with the industry across the board, whether it's the Irish Thoroughbred industry, the Irish Thoroughbred Breeders Association, the racehorse trainers, obviously through Horse Racing Ireland. I just ask that you and your department work with all key stakeholders in the industry to look at initiatives that could help those who will be impacted both in the short term and in the longer term, so that we protect and safeguard an industry that is crucially important and provides thousands of jobs across rural Ireland in many pockets and areas where there isn't a huge amount of other economic activity, and that's what our racing and breeding industry is worth to us, and we just need to make sure it's protected in every way possible, and I thank you for your response on that.
Do you wish to make a comment?
Just wish to acknowledge the Deputy's ongoing interest in this area, and obviously coming from where he does, it's a critical issue. We've had extensive engagement. It's one of the issues that we are very aware of and across all the detail of. It will involve change to the current arrangements, but we are endeavouring to make those as user-friendly and efficient as possible.
Thank you very much. Now, Deputy